What a do VC, Fluffy here, back again with another video. This time I'm going to be showing you guys what I've been collecting in 2026. In my last video, towards the end of my last video rather, I talked about how I did a 180 and I started to collect a different side of music that I haven't been associating myself with. You guys know me as the guy that collects jazz, sometimes a little bit of rock, but this time I wanted to start collecting a genre that I've loved since I was in high school, and that is Japanese music, more specifically Japanese city pop. But I also started to get and fall in love with the Japanese folk scene, the rock scene, fusion side, even the ambient experimental side. I'm getting there. But this first part, I want to do it in parts. I don't know how many parts yet, but this first part, I do want to share more of like the stuff that I've been wanting for the last few years now. So a lot of these are stuff that I've had on my want list for the longest time. I'm talking maybe since like 2021. But some of these are also like fairly new to me. Starting off with the first one, which I had no clue about until this year. And also, before I get started, I do want to apologize in advance if I butcher people's names. Not only am I horrible at remembering people's names, but also like sometimes I forget. Sometimes I'll forget like if they've associated themselves with another group, or if I miss a certain important thing. Yeah, I'll forget. So I apologize in advance, especially if I butchers people's names. Especially, it's Japanese here. So starting off with the first one, hadn't known about it until this year, but I'm very much glad that I've acquired this in my collection. This is Eiichi Ohtaki self-titled album on Bellwood Records, 1972. Eiichi Ohtaki, who was part of the Happy End group, Happy End being the rock, psychedelic rock, or folk rock rather, group. Yeah, 1972. He made this right around Happy End was about to disband or break up, and this is good. This is a great folk rock, country rock, even like this reminds me of like there's a song on here that gives like Beach Boys vibes, which from what I remember, a lot of these artists from these days were really inspired by not only just like the musicians that the big name musicians, but a lot of them covered Beach Boy songs. So it's very interesting to have learned that while I've been not researching, but just kind of diving in the fun facts of some of these musicians. But yeah, Eiichi Otaki's, this is a great one. Here's the label. Like I said, Bellwood Records. Here's another cat who I've actually known about since maybe 2020. Yeah, I remember when like his full albums were on Spotify. I was pretty sad when Spotify took this guy's album off, but you can stream this on YouTube. And who am I talking about here? Another guy who was in Happy End. This is Harumi Hosono, Hosono's House, 1973, his first solo album, again on Bellwood Records. This album is one of, if not my favorite, like Japanese albums out there. Again, another folk rock, rock album. This is so good. Harumi Hosono, who again was in Happy End, then he made like a few albums on his own. Towards that, he did an album, Paraiso, with Yellow Magic Band, and right before that, or right after that, he did Yellow Magic Orchestra, which I haven't necessarily dived into the Yellow Magic Orchestra like albums. I've listened to some of them here and there, but right now I definitely want to keep listening to his earlier stuff, like around this time period. But yeah, Harumi Hosono, aka Harry Hosono, as some people call him. This is a must-have in the collection. I'm so happy to have gotten this one. And it sounds absolutely stunning. Like, just, oh my goodness. Not a lot. All of these albums, I don't know, the Japanese people just do it. They are A++ when it comes to the sound, the sonics of these vinyl records. This next one, shout outs to Donovan, aka I'm Hard for Hard Bop, on Instagram. He shared this a while ago in a story where he posted on his story where it was like, oh, if anyone wants a copy, here's a link. I had known about this band until he shared it, so thank you. And then I streamed it that night, and I loved it, and I impulsively bought this. So thank you again, Donovan. But this is BGM's Fujimaru Band, 1977, I think, originally came out. This is a 1985 pressing. Man, was I surprised to find out that any copy out there you try looking for, and it's hard to find a copy of this album, like any copy. But Fujimaru Band, from what I know, like they only made this album and that's it. Correct me if I'm wrong though, but yeah, BGM, this is a good like rock, what is it, like rock, maybe funk at sometimes album. Some people might even put this in like the jazz, but not me personally. I don't think so. But this guy right here, Fujimaru Yoshino, I had recognized that name, and mind you, I had listened to Yoshino Fujimaru's. I've heard of the name before, and I realized that he has two really popular albums on Moon Records that he did later on in like the 80s, and also his voice. When I heard his voice, a lot of these people, when you hear their voices, you're like, oh yeah, I definitely heard this voice before. But yeah, BGM, let me know if you guys have or know about of this album, because I certainly didn't until this year, thanks to Donovan. These next few albums, I gotta say, this band is probably the reason why I started to fall in love with this genre, this music, and got me into diving deeper into like these other Japanese musicians. I'm talking about the band Piper, and I kind of want to rapid fire on these and show you guys what I've gotten. Starting with this one, this is probably 1983, Sunshine Kids. Not my favorite of the bunch. I'm probably going to show you guys in order, like my least favorite to favorite of this group. This one is definitely city pop, soul oriented, but like I said, not my favorite one of theirs, but I definitely knew I had to get this one because I listened to the tune Sunshine Kids so many times back in high school that I just, it's definitely has a soft spot for me, but like I said, it's not my favorite one. Here's another one where I probably gonna shock people because everybody, literally everyone who talks about like city pop and Japanese music always show this album as like their favorite or like one of the albums to get or they recommend. Mind you, I'm not saying I don't recommend it, but this is not my favorite of theirs. It's up there. It's definitely top 3. But I'm talking about Piper's Summer Breeze. This is 1983, another 1983 album. You probably recognize the song that's on here, Summer Breeze. And yeah, this is definitely city pop. You definitely think of the beach, and you're driving down the coast, feeling. But this is a really, really good one. This was definitely on my top want list. But I gotta say, this album has a soft spot for me, because this is one of the reasons, uh, one of the groups, and one of the reasons as to why I started to fall in love with the music of not only them, but also these other albums that I'm going to show you guys. So Piper's Summer Breeze, definitely very happy to have this one finally. It had been on my want list for years now, and it sounds awesome. Sounds so killer. So this next one is their first album on actually this label called Yupiteru Records. Came out in 1981, I think. Yeah, 1981. This is Piper's I'm Not in Love. This I honestly prefer over Summer Breeze. That's just me. This one gives you more city pop vibes, and that's what I'm here for. Like, this is a very strong album of theirs. Very energetic, very it definitely gives you good vibes. And yeah, the voice of the group, I can't remember his name, but man, once you hear it, you're like, yeah, this is the guy from Piper. And I am just another album that's not on Spotify, unfortunately. Like, Spotify has Summer Breeze and Sunshine Kids on there. They used to have this album on Spotify, but now it's not on there. So this is another one where you have to just stream it on YouTube, unfortunately. But yeah, this is a promo, I forgot to mention, copy. And my number one in terms of the Piper group, I think this is my favorite one. If it isn't this one, it's this one right here. This is Piper's Gentle Breeze, 1984, I think? 1983. Wow. Great albums were released in 1983, I just realized. But, man, this one, I mean, me personally, I think the covers definitely match the vibes of the music. This one definitely gives me that winter, snowy, but yet city pop vibes. Like, that's what I have loved, and still love. And again, this is on Yupiteru Records. I'm not very familiar with this label, but I noticed Piper, the band, have some good stuff on that label. And yeah, from what I remember online, I'm glad that these albums have been reissued, but I believe the original master tapes for, I think, all of them were like lost, and so the reissues are now like from what is it, like they ripped it off of a vinyl of a, yeah, it's basically a vinyl rip. And you know what, if it still sounds good, that's all that matters. But yeah, you can definitely get the reissues out there, and for a good price too, from what I've seen. But yeah, this is definitely my number one album of theirs, Gentle Breeze by Piper. Check it out. Another group that I've been wanting to get, and honestly, I think these two that I'm going to showcase are like, they're very well known albums. This is jazz fusion. And you guys probably have seen this, because they've been reissuing a lot of these Japanese albums, but this one especially. This is Cassiopeia, and this is their self-titled album. Cassiopeia originally came out in 1977, I think, but this is their well-known cover. This is, I can't remember now, but this is from a motor racing event in Japan, and people always go after this version. This came out on Alpha, and this is a probably early 80s reissue, but the music on here is so lively, energetic. Just honestly, I prefer, for the longest time I preferred the original cover version, or cover, but now that I've listened to this album more, I realize that the music on here matches this cover way more than the first pressing, which I'll probably show a picture here. But yeah, it's great fusion. I mean, this is so dang good, so fast, so energetic, so you just, by the time this album ends, you want more of it. And I guess you can hear that in this album right here. This is Cassiopeia Mint Jams, 1982, I think. Yeah, 1982. This is a live album, and this is really, really good too. I've been seeing this. I'm glad that they reissued this. You know, you can find a copy out there, probably at your local record store now. But yeah, this group, from what I've learned is, like, over the years, because this group went on like probably to like the 2000s. I could be wrong, but you know, the group changed a lot over the years, and but the music, I think me personally, their early stuff I prefer more than, you know, whatever they put out later on. But these two are definitely the ones to get. These two, I remember chatting with a record store owner who is from Japan. He told me, yeah, even in Japan, it's harder now to find Cassiopeia records because so many people want them. And I was like, wow, okay, so I'm definitely not going to be seeing any Cassiopeia in your store anytime soon, or at least originals. But that's okay. Those are the only ones that I want so far of the groups. I've definitely streamed their other stuff, but it's not, I gotta appreciate it more for me to actually want them on vinyl. Okay, this next album, honestly, I'm gonna show you guys quick because this is one that I've had for the longest time now. I think at this point, since 2021. I can't believe this is the only one that I had, but definitely this cat, I've wanted like all of his stuff, or at least from this time period. But I'm talking about Masayoshi Takanaka's. This is on guitar. I've had this one for the longest time now. This is on the Invitation label. Just absolutely great jazz. Honestly, I don't consider Takanaka as city pop. I know a lot of people do, but me personally, I like him on like the jazz side, you know, like jazz, funk, sometimes even rock. Like, he is so energetic, especially like when he's performs live. It's just absolutely, you want more of it once it's over. But Masayoshi Takanaka, what can I say about him? He was in, I want to say he was in a group, he was in a prog rock group, which was called Flight Egg. And I think they only put out like 2 albums. And then after that, he was in another group, which I can't remember the name of now. Shoot, I can't remember the name, but the group had 2 different, like, maybe 2 different identities. One was like called one thing, and then it changed to like another name. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, right, silly me, I just looked it up. It was the Sadistic Mika Band, and then later on Sadistics. And then right after that, he went on to do his solo stuff, which this is one of his solo stuff. And honestly, I love this album so much. These 2 albums, mind you, all of these albums that I bought are all online buys. But in the next part, I'm going to show you guys some stuff that I found locally. And okay. But this next one, big want on my want list, and I'm happy to have it. This is Masayoshi Takanaka's Say Cheese. This came out in what year? 1980. No, this came out I think 1977. I could be wrong, but say cheese. I mean, this album is so dang good. Like Takanaka's guitar playing is off the charts here, and it's on this. I love this label, by the way. This is Kitty Records. You'll see Takanaka have like a ton of his albums on this label. But yeah, I see a lot of people online, you know, show this album, or show a song on this album. It's definitely the second song on here, which I think is called in English is I think it's like Tokyo Reggie. But man, this is one that I highly recommend. And here's another one that I highly recommend. This one I pretty sure is 77 as well. This is Masayoshi Takanaka's Takanaka, and this is so good. Oh my gosh. Ready to Fly, a lot of people, you know, play that song on the internet, and it's just like, it's so dang good. Anytime I listen to it, I gotta listen to the full song because it's so good. But this album overall is so, you know, this album cover is iconic. You know, you see a lot of people online dress up as Takanaka, you know, with the full red suit. He's still performing to this day. You know, he's probably in the 70s now, but yeah, just iconic Takanaka, red suit with now these days he plays his surfboard guitar, so good. Summer Breeze. I mean, all these songs on here I absolutely love, and just great jazz, guitar, funk, very intense at some times, but especially during his live performances. If you look online, it's incredible. Okay, this next guy, I gotta say, he's the king of city pop. Everyone, not everyone, but so many people, especially of my generation, are after his albums these days. A lot of the times is because his music is good, or because his music is good and this guy just for some reason doesn't like for us to stream his music on the streaming platforms. So it's kind of hard to find a way to, if you don't have his albums, you know, you probably have to go on SoundCloud and stream his stuff because sometimes they're not on YouTube. But I'm talking about Tatsuro Yamashita, or Tatsuro Yamashita. This is Spacey, on RCA. Tatsuro Yamashita, he is so, oh my gosh, his voice is just incredible. Like, I love this man singing, and it's mostly like high range in my opinion. But yeah, this is his 1977 album, Spacey. Honestly, one of the ones that I discovered later on, despite this being like an early album. I believe before this one it was Circus Town. That might have been his first solo album. But Spacey, oh my gosh, the opening of this song is peak city pop for me. And yeah, I think in terms of like the stuff that he's put out, this one he definitely gives it his all. Like, he is very soulful, very city pop, very like the instruments on here, the orchestra, just oh my goodness. Sometimes you want to shed a tear because it's so dang good. And after the song is over, you will definitely want to replay it and play it over and over again because it's that good. And yeah, this is definitely an essential for me. I'm so happy to have it, and I'm so happy that I think all of his albums are available as a reissue, so you can definitely grab that as a reissue. Here is the one that everyone wants. Like, I think if it's not if it's not, let's see. I don't necessarily see a lot of people want to like say, oh, I want Spacey. But this album, I think everyone, not everyone, I keep saying everyone, but so many people want this one in terms of his discography. And that's For You. This one came out later on, 1982. This is the one that you probably see at your local record store. A reissue of, at least. But Tatsuro Yamashita, this is his iconic For You album that came out on Air Records. And my goodness, it sounds top notch. Like one of the best sounding records in my collection for sure. But yeah, it's just one of the earlier albums that I discovered while I was listening to, you know, the Japanese music genre. And even at that time, when I was like 17 years old, you couldn't listen to it on Spotify, so I had to look it up on YouTube. And now these days it's like hard to find it on YouTube, because sometimes, or a lot of times, someone will post like the full album and then it gets taken down. But yeah, highly recommend this one. This is peak city pop. Tatsuro Yamashita, For You. It is so dang good. And this is another one, like, if it isn't this one, if this isn't like up there for my favorite, this is also like, this is definitely up there. And do I have another Tatsuro? No. So those are the only two that I'm going to show for this video. But like I said, in my other videos where I find stuff locally, you'll probably be surprised of what I found. But these next few, I gotta say, I am so happy, especially for this one. This one I've had on my want list since 2022, I think. And I had honestly forgotten about it until I saw his second album on the wall at my at a store here in LA. And then I kind of revisited his first album, and then I was like, okay, I have the second album, I want his first album. And then I realized it's so hard to find these days, and I was able to find one, luckily. But I'm talking about First Light by Makoto Matsushita. Yeah, Makoto Matsushita. Okay, I definitely butchered his name, and I apologize once again. But yeah, this is one that I had forgotten that I had on my want list for a while now, or for years now. And when I revisited this album, I was like blown away by how good the music sounds on here. And another one I think is essential, city pop, rock album. This is the like I said previously, the cover definitely matches the vibes of the music. And when you listen to this, it definitely gives like late evening / night, driving down, you know, there's the skylines and all of this stuff. Yeah, this cover definitely matches the music. And once again, it's on Air Records, which I believe his second album, Pressures and Pleasures, came out later on Moon Records, which is another label that you see a lot of, you know, you'll see Tatsuro Yamashita, who went from like RCA to Air Records and then finally to Moon. But yeah, this is a really good one. I mean, the opening tracks for a lot of these will just make you want to listen to the full album. But man, just so freaking good. I am so glad that I finally got this one. Here's one that I didn't know until this year, and this is honestly shout outs to my the buddy that I made at the record store here in LA, which I'll probably be my part 2 video. I'm always looking at his stories and his posts on Instagram, because I don't want to miss out on any of the records that he drops at his store. So when I saw that he dropped this one, I streamed it, but I was not fast enough to grab this one at his store, so I had to buy it online, unfortunately. But you know what? The music is absolutely just breathtaking. I'm talking about a female artist here. This is Raji's Heart to Heart on CBS Sony. Yes, this is so good. Raji, she has this very soft, just very, very beautiful, soft voice. And her music is definitely one that's slept on. I don't really see people online talk about her, but at the same time, I think she only put a couple of albums, this being her successful album. I definitely want to check out her other stuff, but yeah, this is one that I highly, highly recommend people check out if you're into the city pop music. And yeah, I am not sure if this has gotten a reissue, but I hope so. And yeah, this is Raji's Heart to Heart. Came out in 1970 something. I don't know. When did this come out? Probably 77. A lot of these came out in the later 70s and then, 80s and etc. But yeah, I would say like city pop definitely peaked, not peaked, but like definitely started from like mid to late 70s, peaked in the 80s, and then the 90s became something else. But yeah, this is a really, really good one. Raji's Heart to Heart. All of these, I think, are now female Japanese artists, and I definitely want to make a video where I showcase the female side of the music. But I gotta say, I think I have a good amount of the female stuff here, not just from me showing you guys, but from my collection that I'm gonna show later on. But right now, I want to show this next one, which I think a lot of people will say is essential in this music or this genre side of what I've been showing. So this is Mai Yamame's Tasogare. This one came out on this label Continental. This is her voice. Her singing is the opposite of Raji's. Like hers is very I wouldn't say deeper, but it's definitely it's not soft. It definitely gives like soul. And I love this album. I know a lot of people on the internet love this album too, especially the opening track, which once you hear it, you'll be like, oh my goodness. Yes, I've definitely heard this one before. Maybe not the original songs, but this has definitely been sampled years and years later. And, people probably of my age will recognize the opening. But this is a really, really good funk, soul, city pop album. Mai Yamane's. Absolutely happy to have this one. Shout outs to Ella Records. A lot of these albums I got from them. I know they could be a little bit pricey, but like, quite honestly, but I have not. There was a time where you could not find any of these records because one, they have gotten reissued more recently, and two, I mean, come on, this is Japanese music where I think the only store here in LA at the time that probably carried a small a small maybe like a small bin of Japanese music was probably Amoeba. every other store probably carries like traditional Japanese, you know, folk Japanese from the 60s and early on. But yeah, I'm just happy that these days people can finally grab a copy, you know, a reissue copy. I hear like even the reissues sound really, really good. But I'm happy that I'm also starting to collect what some of the stuff that I've been wanting for years now. And I want to show these last three. This one, oh, definitely have wanted for years now. And again, shout outs to Ella Records on eBay. They have a, you know, their Japanese store. But I've had been in contact with them with getting a lot of what I've shown today. And yeah, they've been giving me some good deals. So shout outs to them. This next one, I mean, another iconic one in this in this side of the music. I'm talking about Henri's Timely. And yeah, Henri, just another Japanese vocalist or singer that I personally recommend people checking out. I know it's not for everyone. Like, you know, there's people there are people that prefer like other Japanese singers than others. Like, you know, some people don't prefer Henri, but they probably prefer Taiko Onuki or who else am I missing? Or even Mai Yamane. You know, it's they all have their different like singing voices, and some of them is more like soul, maybe some of them is more funk, some of them is more city pop towards or focused. I would say this is definitely more city pop. Henri, I mean, she has a ton of just songs on here that many people have shared online. And yeah, this is one that's on the For Life record label. This one came out in 1983. And what's cool about this one is that it comes with the calendar that seems to be missing on a lot of the copies. Shout outs to Ella Records once again. But yes, when it comes to Henri, I don't like all of her stuff, but that album I knew I had to get. And then there will be other ones that I show in the other parts of the videos that I want to make, because I just couldn't believe I found more Henri locally. So these last two, we're moving forward to the 2000s. Now, you know, I'd say in the 90s, city pop dies, and then is like the birth of J-pop, which is Japanese pop. And I don't think, you know, me personally, I'm not a huge fan of the stuff being put out in the 90s. I know a lot of people out there love it, but I still have to listen to it to appreciate it. But fast forward to like the early 2000s, 2010s, I start to fall in love with this group who is more jazz focused, I guess. Like it definitely sings, but there's also jazz on here, like jazz influence. Who am I talking about? I am talking about the group Lamp. And this is their album. I have no idea how to say it because it's in Japanese, but this group is definitely, you know, has that jazz influence, but it's J-pop, again, Japanese pop. And Lamp, I've heard of this group since, you know, my high school days, and luckily you can stream this online. But for a while, finding their records impossible, because they were put out, you know, in the early 2000s, you know, whenever their albums came out. This one I think came out in like 2011. Yeah, 2011. But at the time, it was impossible to grab because the first press were hundreds of dollars. But now they've started to reissue these albums, or at least the well-known albums like this one. This is the 2025 reissue, which is on, I don't know what the label is on, but I'm pretty sure it's from the same record label. And I definitely love this. Like I said, they're J-pop, but they also have this this jazz influence, or jazz associate with the music. And of course, the last one that I want to show is this one. Like I said, I can't remember the name of the albums, but when you see it, you know it by now, I'm sure. Anyone who's probably clicks on this video probably have already know all of these albums. And if you don't, if you guys know of Lamp, let me know in the comments below. This is another one that has gotten reissued recently. Another one where it was just impossible to find, not impossible, but just really expensive to buy an OG press, because they were going for $700 and up. But yeah, from these two, I think, geez, these two have really good music on here. I can't pick a favorite, but I'm very, very happy to have these two. Hopefully, the label reissues their other stuff, but this is definitely their two iconic albums. And yeah, I wanted to end it off with the later Japanese music that I have. That's the only stuff that I have that's like more recent. But yeah, this is it. This is all the stuff that I wanted to show for today. Like I said, this part was me showing all of my online buys, a lot of it which came from Ella Records. Shout outs to Ella Records. Some I made some deals on Discogs, and then these two came from online from like a Japanese distributor, which I realized Amoeba put these out in their stores, and after I purchased them online, I kind of regretted it, but they are awesome. These are nice tip-on jackets, just beautiful quality. I'm happy regardless. So anyways, that is it. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Let me know if you recognize any of these albums, or if you don't, which I think I'm thinking of dropping links to like a track, maybe my favorite track of each of these albums. Hopefully I can do that, and check the music out, but anyways, that is it. See you in the next part, hopefully. Fluffy out.